I spent a lot of time thinking about what I wanted to say exactly that would be impactful to you, that would be meaningful, that would be something that you could take away from tonight and would leave you with the biggest impact, that would help you understand my sincerity and why I'm doing this. And so, as I have gathered you here tonight to make my official announcement with my intention to run and become your 49th governor of Kansas, that is, I would also be the first female Republican governor in the state's history. So the election is 2 years away, and that seems like a long time, but there's a tremendous amount of work to do in that time. There's a lot of work to do in this state, period, but there's a lot of work to do on this campaign, and I need all of your help, and so I really appreciate all of you being here tonight. So let me start with what my reasons are for running, and this, I'm probably going to miss some things that are encompassed in these 4 points that I'm going to talk to you about tonight. I may not mention every single issue we have going on in Kansas right now, because if you know anything about the politics of Kansas and how our government is running, there's a lot of problems, okay? So if I don't mention a specific issue and you're like, why didn't you mention that? It's okay, it's probably still in there somewhere, but there's only so many things I can talk about tonight, okay? So I'm just going to go over the 4 main points and kind of talk a little bit about those, and again, we can get deeper into those another time. So number 1 is protecting and defending our constitutional rights and freedoms. You know, they've been slowly eroded over the past, I don't know, a while. They've been getting eroded. These days it's a little faster, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's always an attempt to silence or take something away or limit or do something that really does go against our constitutional rights and freedoms. And so I'm very much a strong advocate for protecting those things, whether it be our freedom of speech, our Second Amendment rights, our right to protect our families, and you know, our land rights. There's a lot of stuff, if you don't know what's going on with that, we need to be very watchful of some of the things that are happening with eminent domain and some things where they want to take stuff away from us. So that's a really important issue to me. Number 2, I am dedicated to fighting for the hardworking members of the state. I strongly believe in creating opportunities by promoting, you know, fair wages, job training, supporting local and medium-sized businesses. I don't know if you know this, but I own a few. You know, so being a business owner is pretty important to me, and a lot of business owners are struggling these days. And so there's a lot of things that we can do to make that a little bit easier for them and promote them and be able to help them be more successful. So, but that also includes our farmers. I don't want to leave our farmers out. They're small business owners too, and sometimes we forget about them. I spent some time talking with some people out in western Kansas, and they said, well, you know, the state line ends in Salina. And I said, well, no, it doesn't to me. It obviously, you know, you guys are very important, but they feel left out. They feel like their voice is not heard, and that is definitely something I told them, please let me come out and talk with you. You are important to me. Western Kansas is just as important. They feed us, by the way. They're very important, but they're just as important as the people who sit in Sedgwick County or Johnson County or anywhere else in the state. We don't want to forget the people that work hard all over the state. In addition to that, there are so I also want to support programs that support our skilled labor versus necessarily having a college degree. College degree is great, but there are lots of really skilled labor positions that are important, that are not being filled as well as they could be. We need to promote those within our state. So HVAC, electricians. My son happens to be a diesel mechanic and has an associate's degree. I'm very proud of him for that. And so there are a lot of really good professions that we don't pay a lot of attention to these days because there's too much promotion of, oh, you must go have that 4-year degree, and or well, 6, 8 now, and you know, we need to be encouraging IT positions, mechanics, manufacturing, all of those kind of things. In addition, we have a nursing shortage, healthcare shortage in Kansas. I'm going to specifically talk about a specific thing that our governor said the other day, and I don't agree with. She said, we have a shortage in Kansas because we have not expanded Medicaid. Okay, we do not have a shortage in Kansas because of that. There's a shortage all over the United States. It does not matter if you have expanded Medicaid or not. So there will be a lot, that's a big topic for me as well, Medicaid and healthcare in general. So I'm also committed to protecting all life, and I had a very long conversation with Dr. Mark today, so I was really excited to have that conversation. But I'm committed to protecting all life. Now that includes the unborn, but it also includes our children, it includes our disabled, and it includes our elderly. Vulnerable people in our society that are often, they are often minimized, taken for granted, they're abused, they're used, they're manipulated, groomed. We have elderly people who have paid for their homes and they're being taxed out of them now. We need to do something about that. But we also have an attack, obviously, on our children. I'm not going to get really deep into that topic tonight, but I think we all understand what's happening with our children. A lot of people don't understand it's also happening within our disabled community, that there is a lot of grooming and manipulation within the disabled community, and we need to be protecting those members of our society as well, in addition to our children and our unborn. Our unborn don't get a say at all. Okay, and we need to protect that. Finally, I do believe in limiting our government overreach. We need a government that empowers our citizens, not one that controls them. Okay, and I will work to cut unnecessary regulations, promote personal responsibility, helping businesses and individuals succeed. But a big part of everything, I believe, is that you should have a voice. And recently, not so recently, but in the past years, our voice has been increasingly removed, limited. And I think it frustrates people. Does anybody frustrated with that? Okay, something that's currently happening right now, and by the way, one of my slogans of my campaign is going to be saying the quiet things out loud, so I'm just going to start tonight. One of those things is there is a movement to take your choice away when it comes to the primary for the election of your governor. Okay, they would like to select one candidate and present you with one candidate in the primary only, and that's your choice. Now, can you imagine, and I mean it's happened, this is why I think that a lot of people have stopped voting, why they get frustrated and they don't feel like they matter at all, is because when you are presented with only one option and you don't like that option, what do? You either go along and say, well, lesser of two evils or whatever, best thing we've got, or you just don't vote at all and you stop being involved. And we really need to work with people to get them involved in our government, in what's going on locally in your area, in your state. We spend a lot of time paying attention to federal, our United States politics. We don't spend enough time paying attention to what's going on in our own backyard. And so I think that's going to be very important coming up. I think that when we look at what's going on right now in our state, much less our country, we're looking at, we've heard these words, establishment versus non-establishment. And I don't even know that we really have Republican versus Democrat anymore, except for when we come to social issues. We have a lot of establishment versus non-establishment. And non-establishment are typically people like I feel are sitting in this room tonight that are just sick and tired and they're fed up of seeing things happen in their state that are not for them. And we just really need to work together on that. I can't do it by myself. I am one voice, I'm one person, and I can't do it alone. When other people stand up with me, and I know sometimes that can be very scary, to stand up and be a voice, because, I don't know, fear rules a lot, right? It can be very scary. However, when we stand up together, all together, we will be heard. And we'll be heard better, we'll be heard and taken seriously, and we can actually start to make some real changes in this state. Let me see if I've forgotten anything that I wanted to say. So a lot of this over the next 2 years is going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be pretty difficult. I will tell you that I'm 100% aware of that this is not going to be an easy journey. Those of you that know me in here should know that does not deter me in any way, shape, or form. And that I actually kind of thrive on it. When somebody tells me I can't do something, I'm probably gonna go make sure it happens. So those kind of things just don't bother me at all. So people telling me I can't do it, people telling me that I'm not good enough, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm not, whatever, those things just they don't affect me in any way. And so as we go forward, I just want to ask you guys to be courageous and brave alongside me as I go on this journey. And there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of things I didn't touch on tonight. I'm going to talk about really quick one of the things I learned. Those of you that don't know, I used to be on a city council, did that for 6 years, and one of the main lessons that I took away from that was sometimes we have things that we want to see happen, and we think, well, from the general public looking in, we're like, well, why can't that just occur? Okay, that seems like an easy thing to do. And I thought the same way until I sat on a council and I saw the full picture. And we don't always get to see the full picture as the public, and it's not necessarily because they're trying to keep something from you. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not. It's because of privacy laws or things where they can't actually share all of the information that's available. But once I was on the other side and I saw a full picture of what was going on, it became very clear that yes, something that somebody wants over here may sound fantastic, and it can harm a whole other group of people over here. And so I know this is one of the hardest things. I've had people tell me this. I don't know that I've had any Republicans tell me this, but other people have told me this, who said, well, if you harm one, you harm them all. And I don't believe that. First of all, it's 100% impossible to make everyone happy all the time and meet everyone's needs 100%. But there is a way to compromise, and there's a way to help as many people as possible, and then compromise and help as much as we can towards that goal. We're never, ever going to make everybody 100% happy. So, that's been a conversation I've had several times with people about wanting to just push through things that could be detrimental to a whole other group of people. And so there may be times when we talk about something and you're like, well, why can't we do that? And I may have to look at you and say, well, there's a whole other issue you don't know about. And so, and I hope you'll understand that, when those kind of things come up. But my goal is to listen to as many people as possible. and hear your voice. Like I said before, I'm only one opinion, and I might not have the right one sometimes. You might have a fantastic thought process that I have not even come close to thinking about that would benefit a lot of people, and I want to hear that. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I think at the end of the day, though, regardless of what political affiliation we are, what our social issues, what we think on those, at the end of the day, we can all agree on the same basic things, that we want affordable housing and safe place to live, good schools, safe places for our children to go to school, and we would all like to live good lives, right? And those things, I think, no matter who you are, where you are, those are universal things that we can come to agreements on. So that's when I am governor of Kansas, I will be serving everybody. I won't just be serving Republicans or conservatives or patriots or, but I'll be serving liberals and Democrats and moderates and, libertarians, the whole 9 yards. People that never want to set foot into a polling station and vote. I'll be serving those people too. And so it's very important that I am able to meet the needs of all the people in the state to the best of my ability. And so listening to everybody's viewpoint, regardless of what side they're on, is very important to me. I think that's about it.